The future of console gaming doesn't look bright, at least for Xbox. But what about both of them? Are they both got a chance? Now, I'm going to maybe include Switch a bit into this. Now, I think Nintendo have got a huge chance. I mean, the Switch has been a absolute phenomenon for them. Although they are a greedy fucking corporation, they still at least know how to sell a console, and it's the only console out there you can play Mario and Zelda on. I'm talking about the newer Zeldas. It's the only console out there you can play their exclusives on unless you emulate them, but we all know how Nintendo acts about emulation. Oh, yeah, they don't take very kindly to people emulating their games. Now, where is the console market going, and will it eventually disappear? Well, to answer the last question, probably not. I don't see why the console market will ever disappear. Will it shrink? Depends. Will these people move to PC? I mean, again, the reason why PC isn't probably doing, or a lot of people who buy a console, although I'm going to say a fair few people who probably own a console probably own a PC as well, so they probably own a console maybe because they like sitting back and relaxing while playing games, and their PC is kind of where they mainly game and focus on. Now, personally, I have a PC, and I do game on console and PC. I like my console for sitting back and relaxing, but I like my PC for them games I really want to get into. I kind of use my PlayStation more for story games, and some multiplayer games, but mainly story, because I feel like it's just better for them. You know, it's better to sit back and relax rather than being cooped up on a chair and, playing on a keyboard and mouse. While I don't mind playing on a keyboard and mouse for that sort of stuff, it's just better, in my opinion. So I think console will always have a market for people. And as long as PlayStation keep doing what they're doing, I'm sure they'll keep that market up. And I don't see why it would fail for them. Now, I do understand why a lot of people are angry at console manufacturers. Again, paying for online is still a bit concerning because, well, you're still paying for the online aspect. No, I get it. Consoles clearly can't be making enough money for them to get rid of that feature. Although if they get rid of that feature, everyone would just, I don't know, they probably wouldn't be. Again, everything aspect of a console has to make profit. It has to make profit somewhere or another. If you're paying a subscription, even if it's like $6 or $10 a month, it's still going into Sony's pocket, and they're still pocketing that. They have, I think, 3-tier subscriptions. They have 3 PS Plus subscriptions. They have the PS Plus, normal PS Plus, which is just required for online, although you get monthly games with it, which is cool. You have PlayStation Plus Extra, which is the extra package, which is pretty much like Game Pass Ultimate, but for the PlayStation. And then you have PlayStation Plus Premium, which is more like titles. They put on there like premium titles. Some exclusives are on there. You can get some PS3 games. Personally, I don't think it's worth it, unless you're a really, really hardcore gamer. That's like, I think, $150-something a year. It's not very cheap, in my opinion, but if people want to buy it, people want to buy it. I mean, then again, Game Pass isn't exactly cheap. I think Game Pass is nearly $200 a year. Game Pass Ultimate, I'm talking about. But are console games, are they going to keep thriving? I mean, again, I don't know the future of Xbox. It's kind of hard to say the future of Xbox because, well, what is going on at Xbox now and the leadership and everything like that seems to tell me that it doesn't really have a lot left in it. But again, a lot of people didn't think it had a lot left in it a few years ago. So I don't know. I think mainly my main priority, if I was in charge of Xbox, would be making that console sales boot up a little bit. Because while, yeah, they've got 30 million, which, again, is nothing shy of a failure, But, well, compared to the PlayStation anyway. But I ain't going to lie, it's not a bad thing. 30 million people, if they still can keep a lot of them people active on that console and buying subscriptions and stuff, I don't see why it would be so bad. I think people focus these days more on the sales of consoles and not how the console is performing initially. Yes, a console could sell 50 million units, that's great. But how many people are actually paying for the most expensive fucking premium plan? The most premium plan you can get on Xbox is Game Pass Ultimate. They have, I think, about 20-something million people, or somewhere around that region. That's a lot of people on Game Pass Ultimate. And a lot of people like Game Pass Ultimate gives you access to the PC Game Pass as well, so you get the best of both worlds. Now, I understand a lot of people probably don't want to pay that much for a subscription. They just want a subscription that gets them online and they can go on eBay. I mean, eBay is a shelf full of games. That's what I don't. Nobody really does it. I don't know why people just buy stuff. Oh, I'm going to buy it on a subscription. Ha ha. Bro, you can go on eBay and you can buy very cheap disc games. I shit you not, it's probably one of the best things to ever do. I love doing it. I love going on eBay and I'll buy just a bunch of games for very cheap, and it's a cool thing to do because, well, you don't need it. You just pay for your subscription online so you can just play some multiplayer on them games, but you don't need to go out and pay for the subscription I still have PlayStation Plus Extra because there are a few games that I kind of want to play on there, and I haven't really seen them cheap enough on eBay or that for me to warrant buying them on that. They're very close on eBay, the ones that I've seen anyway, like Sniper Elite 5 and stuff like that. I've been playing that quite a lot. It isn't really the price that I'm like, it's about the same price as it is on PlayStation, not far off. So I'm going to be like, I don't really want to go out and buy something like this if it's not far off the price. Now, I understand a lot of people may, not want to buy the subscriptions, unless it's just the online subscription they have to pay, which, in my understanding, I do feel like it's, to me, in my country, I think it's like $10 a month for the basic PlayStation subscription, which I guess is not too bad. It's okay, it's manageable, it's not too expensive, in my opinion. But I can understand why some people may be like, this is a little bit too expensive for me. And again, that's very understandable. I think consoles they've got to try and sell something. They've got to try and make some profit, haven't they? Again, they're going to probably be losing a lot of profit. But anyway, that's beside the point. We're veering off track. Yeah. What do I think the future of console marketing or console whatever will be? It's hard to really say. If let's just say, for instance, Xbox. Let's do one. Xbox is in the picture. All right, let's do. So if Xbox is still in the picture, I think console gaming is going to look very different in the sense of how games are going to be. I think PC is going to be the more focus for a lot of these developers, like a lot of these companies like Sony and stuff. But they're going to have their consoles for the people because they can still target a market for that. Sony know that there are people out there. There is a target audience of people out there that cannot afford a PC. And that's money in their pockets for them. That's, oh wow, this guy can't afford a PC. Let's just give him the game. Now, I don't know what's going on with Microsoft's side of things. They are going to be releasing exclusives on PlayStation. I don't know what that means for the console. Does that mean that Xbox will be getting day one releases of an exclusive and then PlayStation have to wait up to a year later just to get that exclusive, or are they going to be all releasing it day one? In my opinion, it kind of begs the question of what is the point of owning an Xbox? Unless you can't afford a PC, wouldn't it just be better and more convenient to just go out and buy a PlayStation? I think a lot of people that may own, me too, owning an Xbox, the reason I kind of own one is because I wanted all of my games in one device. And the thing I hate about the PlayStation, and they're never really going to invest in this type of stuff because, well, I don't see a lot of people complaining about it and saying about it, is backwards compatibility. Xbox has nailed that over the years. They've done a very good job in it. And it's a lot of the games, especially the older Call of Duties and a lot of the older multiplayer games, are fairly active because of that. and because of stuff like that, it's a good thing. But then you go on PlayStation side of thing, one sec, you got to pull out your PS3, got to put all the wires and that and stuff. And it's kind of, I'm kind of glad they haven't taken the online off yet. Although I don't think they will. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? I know Microsoft is going to be getting rid of the Xbox store. So you want to buy games, I'd buy them now if you're on 360. Anyway, that's beside the point. If Xbox doesn't exist in the future, I think PlayStation is going to be taking a whole... I'm going to say that the average PlayStation over its whole life cycle may end up selling at least 150 units, 150 million units every console life cycle. Again, they're selling astronomically well. They've got 50-something million sold. People love the console. Whether that's if they use it for exclusives or not. Apparently, a lot of people on PlayStation just buy a PlayStation for the exclusives, which, again, isn't a good thing for Sony. It isn't a good thing. You want to keep that retention going. Because, again, they do make money from people buying any game on their platform. So does Steam. They kind of want you to be buying games on their platform as well, because they're going to be getting 30% of what you buy it. You see what I mean? So at the end of the day, if people aren't buying stuff on PlayStation, it's kind of a bit of a thing. It's kind of telling Sony, our revenue from this isn't going to end up doing well. We want to take our 30% from, these developers and stuff like that for pretty much hosting their game on our services. We're not going to be able to do that because a lot of people have decided to buy an Xbox for the exclusives and stuff like that, which I can understand will put them in a bit of a front of like, oh no, this isn't a good thing. No, I can understand the future of gaming being a little bit different. PC, again, a lot of, PlayStation anyway, have decided, you know what, let's put our exclusives or let's start to drip feed our exclusive catalogue into the PC mainstream. And, well, the PC gamers have taken that quite well, apart from the Helldivers situation, but they've taken it fairly well. They haven't taken it bad or anything, and the games are doing pretty well. Although The Last of Us, I remember when that launched, I think it was last year. It didn't play too great. It had a bit of bugs. I think they were fixed fairly quickly, but you got to be very careful with that. You can't be dropping a game full of bugs like that. It's, again, first impressions count to a lot of people these days, and when you start doing things like that and pulling stunts like that, it can put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So I can understand why on earth people were against that and shitting on that game when it first came out on PC. But I don't know, is the future PC gaming? I mean, again, if PC gaming became more affordable for people, I'm sure a lot more people would veer over to PC gaming. Oh, but you can get a PC for, $600. Again, a lot of people still haven't got that in their price range. Heck, that's probably why some people are probably still on their PS4s. You've got to try and bring it in and start to realize it needs to be making some profit, this game. They need to be doing well. And they need more console sales. I mean, they do put the PlayStation 5 goes on sale fairly regularly. So does the Xbox, to be honest. That's kind of expected in nearly 4 years into the console's life cycle. They put the consoles on on sale because they want to try and bring out extra profit. Hey guys, buy this PlayStation. Come here, buy this PlayStation. It's on sale. Just before, or like maybe a year before the PS5 launches, the PS4 was still selling for like $200, $300. It wasn't going cheap. Maybe that's because they wanted every penny out of it. I don't know. Again, well, actually, no, don't they sell the consoles at a loss? Well, that's what they keep saying anyway. They sell the consoles at a loss. Do I think PC gaming will take over console gaming? It's very hard to tell that. Because of how the market really shifts itself. I don't know. If PC gaming or manufacturers like AMD and NVIDIA found a solution to make something a lot cheaper, but still have a lot of quality in it and still be able to run games like consoles can, then I'm sure it would break a market out that a lot of people would love. And I'm sure it'd do successful as well. They'd be able to snatch up all the console players. I don't think console is going anywhere yet. I don't think it's going anywhere soon anyway. It's here to stay for, I'd say, a good maybe generation or two, maybe 3 generations. Again, as long as people can't afford a PC, and again, with all in this inflation and all this stuff's going on, it's probably in the future. And if there's another pandemic, I know the pandemic absolutely ruined the PC gaming market. So again, it's things like that could jeopardize, the console market and have people come to, console temporarily because, well, again, you can't buy the things on PC because of chip shortages and stuff like that. Although that did affect the PlayStation and the Xbox. Although I'm pretty sure Xbox had the priority. Yeah, they had priority to make the consoles, so should have helped them sell it, shouldn't it? But I don't know. It's a bit all over the place. The console market, it's shifting very weirdly. Like, it's 1 minute people are saying, "Oh, I don't like this console." 1 minute people are saying they do. Again, I always think there will be a market for console games and console gaming. Whether that's if Xbox exists or whether that's if, well, no, there's not going to be another console on the market. I don't think anyone else is going to manufacture a console. We've already seen Google try to do that with the Google Stadia type of cloud gaming console. Still kind of the same thing. It failed, and it's made me kind of realize these are the big 3. Whether you say Microsoft is a failure and stuff like that, the fact that they're still existing and the fact that they've still got a player base. I think the Xbox Series X has sold 30-something million. That's a hell of a lot of consoles, regardless of what you say. Look at how many consoles that have failed over the years, that have tried to bring... The Ouya failed. And it's coming in to realize that Xbox, the fact that it's still alive, tells me something that maybe it may have a future. I don't know. If they got that leadership sorted out with the actual company and they started to realize what they're doing wrong and find a solution to something like that, I genuinely think they could see the end of the tunnel. They could see the light at the end of the tunnel. But at the moment, I don't think anything at that company is doing very well. They could pull themselves out, and I really want them to do. I want them to be there has to be a competition, surely. You can't just let Sony eat up all that. Microsoft surely needs to realize if we leave the console market, yeah, we may make a little bit of money, but we won't have the domination. We got to try and be dominating the market. We got to do well in the market. We can't keep messing around like this. And it's very understandable. I don't understand why on earth they're just going to go out like this. It's a console. A lot of people still have it. Again, you've still got quite a dedicated fan base for that console, whether that's through the Series S. I mean, they've got one of the best gaming deals in the history, I think, anyway. The Series S, whether you say it's underpowered trash and blah, 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 whatever people like to call it, it's still a very good deal for a lot of people. Again, as we all know, gaming is a pretty expensive hobby over the years. The average game now, AAA game, and in fact, the average game in general is costing at least $30 to $60. The lower end is $30, and then that real sweet spot is upwards of $70. And it's making a lot of people question, is it actually worth it trying to game anymore, because gaming is just more and more expensive. Now, I understand rising costs of marketing these games. Again, that's probably the most expensivest part about the gaming is the marketing. Places like Facebook and YouTube charge quite a lot to advertise on their platforms. So you could end up spending a very big chunk of your budget on that, on them marketing videos, and what happens if they don't pull off like you think they're gonna. So I don't know. The Series S is a good... I mean, again, if Xbox keep doing what they're doing with the Series S, maybe they could have a bit of success. They need it a bit more powerful, in my opinion. I mean, again, apparently they're going to be joining the handheld market. I don't know what this... again, it's very weird, Xbox. They say they're going to be making hardware still. They're going to be getting... I don't know what on earth is going on. Either Phil Spencer is lying through his teeth about that, or I don't know. I really don't know, because one minute he says the hardware is going to be this, and then he changes his mind. And, well, Phil Spencer is very quiet when it comes to this. He kind of shuts his mouth. Maybe that's the best thing to do, but you've got to start giving people reassurance. With all this stuff going on, and there's rumours that apparently Xbox may be shutting down and going third party, surely you should be giving... And then they shut that claim down, saying no. And then there's more rumours that apparently they're going to be joining the handheld market and stuff like... It's all... Like, Xbox just seems to be a big failure. They don't even know what they're trying to do. And that's why I say... the future of that console drops down and down and down and down and down and down. And then you got PlayStation here just riding the waves. That's why I'm saying the console market is a rough market at the moment, especially for Microsoft anyway. They just don't care anymore, do they? They're laughing this off and saying, who cares? I really, 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 really wish the console market was just in a great place at the moment. And then there's people, switch to PC again. Not everyone's in that price range. If you bought a console, what's the point of owning a PC? If you don't want a PC, I'm saying. You know, again, not everyone wants to game on a PC. You know, and this is coming from a PC. I'm a PC gamer. I will always have my hands dipped in the PC gaming market. I do love PC gaming, but I can see again why people may not want a PC to PC game. So I don't know. It's a bit all over the place. I feel sorry for anyone who is negatively infected by any of this console bullshit. It really begs the future of many consoles. You know, I think the Switch is kind of all in the corner by itself, loving itself and, you know, being happy. And then there's just the Xbox and the PlayStation just fighting on who's better, instead of saying, you know what, we should have a healthy competition like we did years ago with the 360 and the PS3. Well, obviously, it was still pretty roaring back then, but the competition, by me saying healthy competition, I'm talking about healthy sales. They both were pretty much neck and neck on sales. They were doing well on sales. A lot of people loved the sales of the console. You know, they weren't so like they are now. I don't know, but will we ever get that back? I don't know. I think the future of console gaming is either going to be one, or if Xbox decide what they're doing with their management, they may still exist in a few years' time. It's really hard to tell because I don't know. Their communication is so bad. It's impossible to tell whether they actually care about their market or not. I mean, Sony doesn't have the greatest communication in the world, but you know, it's not like this, and they're not all over the place, and they say one thing and then back down on it. You know, that's kind of what Phil Spencer seems to do. He says one thing, then kind of changes his mind, and then says another thing, then changes his mind again, and he's all over the place. I don't even think he even knows what he's talking about half the time. Either that, or he's just a front man. You know, he's faking being in charge to make, you know, to get all the bottle and get all the stick for everything that's bad that's happening to Microsoft. Because one minute he says one thing, and people have caught on to that over the years, like, this guy's lying, you know. How can people trust someone who's lying? You know, again, within the business sector and within companies, if you are lying, it could severely jeopardize your community and your company. You know, if a big company was caught lying, it could negatively impact you. Number one, people don't trust you as much. They're going to have very weird things. Number two, they may move to another platform or they may move to another company that sees them better. You know? Why should they be part of a company that's going to be dishonest to them and not really trust their customers? You know? I don't understand Xbox at the moment, but in my opinion, the future of console gaming, it's always going to be there. Of course, it's always going to be there. As long as people buy consoles up, again, it's like everything. As long as people buy a particular thing up, there will always be a market for it. And heck, if it's not Sony or Xbox, I'm sure someone else will take the throne somewhere or another. You know, maybe Nintendo will start taking more serious. I don't know if they're going to... I think they're going to probably stick to the handheld market. Maybe it is better for them to stick to the handheld market. But I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at the moment, all this stuff. And I can understand why people are very confused. I don't really know what's going to go on. I don't know the future that well, even though I just said the future looks good. Again, the future tomorrow could be just Xbox saying, well, we're ceasing operations. But I don't know. It is what it is, unfortunately. I do think there'll always be a console gaming market out there, but I don't know if Sony or Xbox will be still in it in a few years. Who knows? I don't have a clue. Again, gaming is changing very rapidly now. People are changing their interests in the games they like, and whether they like the exclusive experience and stuff like that. It's quite clear the thing that's keeping Sony and PlayStation alive are people who like the console, but also the exclusive. The exclusivity is definitely keeping that console alive. And Xbox, I think Game Pass is the main thing that seems to be keeping that alive. Because I don't see anything else that would be keeping it alive other than Game Pass. But what other story is, if you want a console, buy a console. If you want a PC, buy a PC. Don't complain about console gamers, though, because they bought a console, but it may cost them more money. Yeah, I guess it might do, but they're gone in that price range because it was something they could afford that time, you know? I get you could finance a PC, but then again, it's all depends on people's credit scores, and I'm not getting into all that stuff anyway. But either way, I do think there will always be a console gaming market out there. Whether it's thinner than it is today, I don't know. But there will always be someone out there who wants to buy a console.